What is up, YouTube? My name is Gio, and I have never been so irritated, annoyed, and just straight up disappointed than how I was after watching Titans Season 2. This is actually my second session of recording this because I got so mad the first time you could barely understand a word I said. And to address the elephant in the room, yes, I now realize how I was horribly wrong about Titans. This is why normally I give a TV show 3 episodes, because they can start off strong.
You know what they say. Genetics is destiny.
Okay, relatively strong, but just tumble their way to the finish line. Titans didn't just repeat some of the same mistakes they made in Season 1, but they overcorrected some of the others. The writing got worse with every episode, characters are either inconsistent or underused, and the plot is the equivalent of a maze. It has a start and an end point, but the path to get there is a jumbled mess. And what makes me so irritated and pissed off is the fact that I still believe there's a good show here trying to get out. There are episodes that show that Titans has potential, like Aqualad, Connor, Jericho, and even some parts of Bruce Wayne. God, these fucking titles. The point is that for the most part, what makes these episodes better than the rest is that they focus on contained events, rather than doing what the show normally does this season, just jump from character to character without giving their subplots any connecting tissue. However, these are small parts to the big issue with the show. The main problem with Titans Season 2 is that it has a lack of focus. I talked a bit about this in my last video about The Mandalorian, that when you're planning out a series for a film or TV show, it's important that you have a set endpoint, something that the audience can see we are building up towards. However, even if you have that set endpoint, if the journey getting there is convoluted and doesn't seem connected, it makes the endpoint you have been building towards less impactful. The showrunners seem to know how they want to start and end the season, but not how to get there. It's so hard for me to try and describe the plot of Season 2 because we can be following Dick and Deathstroke one minute, then jump to Hank and Dawn's personal drama the next minute jumping to Gar with Cadmus. Oh, and guess what? None of these plots are connected at all. Like, there are enough plot lines here that can be used for a whole extra season, and it becomes irritating for the audience to have to follow all these plots and not feel like they're getting any closer to the end. I used the example of a maze earlier when describing the second season's plot. And when I think about it, it's actually a perfect comparison. Like in a maze, if you make enough wrong turns, when you eventually reach the end, instead of being like, yes, I made it, it's more like, fucking finally, I'm at the end. You're glad that it's over, rather than enjoying the journey you took to get there. The lack of focus isn't just shown in the plot, but also the characters. We have 2 villains this season in Deathstroke and Cadmus, which are not connected at all with each other. So in the finale, we can almost divide it up into 2 parts. This is the Deathstroke half, this is the Cadmus half. As a result, rather than having one strong villain, we get 2 half-baked antagonists. This ends up separating our characters' growth because rather than having them coming together as a result of this villain, they end up developing separately from the main plot, and in some cases, not even growing at all. Seriously, I'm starting to think that the showrunners just hate Beast Boy. I mean, he gets no love. This lack of focus the Titans has is ultimately what is killing the show because it ends up infecting other parts of production. No focus makes it hard to write deep dialogue, expand on characters, or even tell a coherent story. You know what? There's a potentially easy way to fix these problems so we can have the deep characters, dialogue that actually suits the tone of the scene, and a plot that has actual flow. The solution is to give them more episodes. Seriously, it's not rocket science. DC, Warner Brothers, you have control over this streaming service. Stop trying to nickel and dime your viewers by only having one show going on at a time. You can't expect a show with this big of a cast to be able to develop their characters and arcs within 13 episodes? Are you high? It's so irritating because I like a lot of what they wanted to do with these characters. For example, Rose and Jason have a small relationship this season, and with both their backgrounds, it's actually an interesting concept and can really expand and go deep with these characters. But screw that, we only have 13 episodes. We don't have time for development. Instead of focusing on only one character like we did last season, let's do the exact opposite route and give every character many undefined arcs that don't feel impactful at all. I give a lot of shows the benefit of the doubt, especially when it comes to superheroes, because I grew up with these characters and I want to see them adapted to a modern audience. But never have I been so pissed off at a show before than when I was done with Season 2 of Titans. I could go on talking about everything this season did wrong, like how this interpretation of Bruce Wayne is awful, Beast Boy barely getting any development, Connor being completely underused, the waste of Rose and Jason's relationship, Corey just being there, and the fucking finale! You know what makes it worse? Is that I gave this show a chance. I told you guys, the people that watch this channel, to give it a shot. And I'm sorry that I may have subjected you to this half-baked, unfocused show. I don't want to go after the talented people that spend time and effort to make this show what it is. It's just I blame the higher-ups at DC and Warner Brothers for dealing these people a bad hand. Titans failed on so many levels, but the nail in the coffin was its lack of focus.